Good morning, friends. How are you? Good morning, good morning. We still have 1 minute to time and just wanted to come in a bit earlier. How was your week? How are you today? Hope you're well. Joseph, Brother Joseph Tumushave, you're welcome. How are you? Thank you for joining us. That's our time. Russell, you're welcome. John Bosco, you're welcome. Brother Mehdi, you're welcome. Please help me invite all your friends, especially single people, because we are talking about a topic that is so dear to single people. So you're welcome. How is your weekend going? Brother Samuel, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Bonnie, thank you for joining us. Okay. For those who are new on this broadcast, my name is Esther. And every week, Saturday, 7 a.m. UK time, 9 a.m. East African time, I come here to just encourage people, my friends, especially single people, on how to overcome stigmatization based on a book that I wrote, How a Single Woman Can Overcome Stigmatization. But all the principles we share on this live broadcast apply to both men and women. So that's what we are here doing that. Brother Joseph is saying the weekend is rolling on well. That's good. So, okay, let's start. Now, a recap of what we covered last week. Last week, we talked about leadership. We were trying to correct the wrong that single people, especially women, in some circles, in some churches, in some communities, they are not allowed to attain certain positions of leadership just because of their status. And we looked at reasons why this is wrong. Some of those is that single people in the community or in the church or the youth would like to have role models who are like them, who are going through the same situation, and they're up there in leadership positions. People they can look up to, people they can open up to and learn from and emulate and aspire to become like. So when we allow single people, single ladies to be in leadership, we give that chance to young people to have mentors, role models who represent them. And also leadership is a seed. Leadership is a seed which is in each and every person. So we all have a seed of leadership. It's just in there in us, and it's up to us to really nurture it to grow. So each person that was created on this planet Earth is a leader. Why? Because God, who created us, is a leader himself, and he produces us after his likeness and his image. Therefore, we are all leaders. So we need to arise and shine and bring out that seed of leadership in us to benefit humanity. Okay, so we realize that actually we all have an assignment to fulfill, and we can all influence people to either think differently or act differently. In fact, that's how we defined what leadership is all about. So, and then I shared simple steps on how to establish yourself and grow as a leader. And we looked at all those different things. And also leadership is also fulfilling the commission that go forth and make disciples of all nations. Go forth and multiply, be fruitful. You see, that's how we fulfill our mandate as leaders. So Brother Bruce, Brother Fred, Emmanuel, Herbert, you're all welcome. Thank you for joining us. So you're welcome. Now, for this week, it's an interesting topic, and I'm so grateful that I'm seeing only brothers on the platform. Maybe the ladies will join us later. Okay, our topic today, this week, is Righting the Wrongs Part 3. Egocentric love must be replaced by the universal love. Wow, let me repeat. Our topic is egocentric love must be replaced by the universal love. Okay. Samuel Opili, you're welcome. Stephen, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. So what do I mean by that? Okay, I gave, if you look on our broadcast header, I put there an example, okay? And this example goes like this. It's a real life advice that is given to married men, especially. So they are told, never embrace any single lady or show courtesy. What if they fall in love with you, yet you're already married? So, my brothers on the platform, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this? Do you support it? Do you think it's tricky? What are your opinions? I would like to hear from you. Okay, so please write your comments as we discuss. Right. So, and also in one of the, when I posted to advertise for this live broadcast, I put a comment that the lack of universal love for people is so prevalent in our communities and also in our churches today, just because of self-preservation. Self-preservation. Self-preservation, what do I mean by that? We try to protect ourselves. Now, like that advice that was given to a married man. Don't go near single ladies. Don't have anything to do with them. What if they fall in love with you? You're trying to protect yourself, you know. You're trying to preserve your image. You don't want to call for trouble, you know. They usually say, if you don't ask for trouble, trouble won't follow you. Okay? Okay, so we're going to discuss this and actually find where I think this is wrong. So I'm really keen on hearing your views, please. So please share your comments in the comment section. Okay? Right. So I want to start with a quote by Dr. Sandra Delager. He once said, you cannot love God without loving people. That's so true. Because we claim to love God, to be near him, and yet we can't see him. And the people who are, you know, around us, the people we see, we can't love them. So if God created us in his own image and his likeness, that means he lives in each and every person. So if you love the person, other people close to you, that means you're loving God in them. That is the theory we want to discuss. Okay? And discard this type of advice. Okay, so please stick with me. So I put here a note. I have been at churches as a single person, and after hearing stories of how people talk about single people, of how they suspect them, oh, that sister, oh, she's single, maybe she's after this other brother. You know, there's a lot of commotion, and it's a shame that it's also found in churches. People who are, you know, believed to be religious and, you know, close to God, but these things happen. Okay, just hear me out. Okay, so after I attended all these meetings, you know, you hear people talk about single people, how they suspect them, how they misjudge their actions, and most of the time they are really wrong. Okay, so that forced me to be very conscious of myself, conscious of how I respond to people, conscious of my actions, to the extent that if I was to enter a building, maybe a conference or sit where there's a gathering people, I would look around and then choose a seat where there are only ladies. That's where I would sit. Why? Because there was a stigma around me that, oh, if I sit next to a man, they'll think I'm after him. Oh, I'm single. You know, that kind of thing. So it's out of my experience that this topic was birthed. Okay. So if, for example, as well, if I'm greeting a man and I'm over smiling, even if you're naturally smiling, someone may think, oh, okay, she's after something. So I'll force myself to be serious. Hello, not even offer a hand until the person asks for my hand to greet them. It was that bad, my brothers and sisters. Okay. So it affected the way I greet people, the way I sit, where I choose my seat. You know, I would always sit next to fellow ladies and things like that. Okay. And when it comes to birthdays, you know, sometimes you just want to bless people. Someone has announced their birthday in the congregation, in the fellowship, you give gifts. So I would even be conscious, oh, what if I give a gift and the person thinks I'm after, you know, that kind of stigma. I'm sure if a lady was here, they would understand me, because sometimes the brothers may not understand because it's not their experience. But I wish our sister would come on and say, yes, I believe that. I've gone through that. That would be very good. But that's the kind of experience and stigma that I faced. Okay? So single ladies end up carrying this stigma of being a potential marriage breaker. How sad. How sad that in a community where we want to feel accepted and loved, all these kind of stigmas are poured onto single people, and which is not healthy for the environment, which is not healthy for the whole fellowship. Okay, so let's discuss more. So it has been considered normal for men not to give single ladies a simple brotherly hug or kiss. Why? Because they are single. Which is, and this problem I think is mainly with Africans, because having been exposed to the Western world, you know, people just come up to you, hello, they give you a hug, they help you, they give you a peck on the cheek. Yeah, of course they see your ring, you're married, but that's brotherly, that's universal love. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay? So that stigma of being a potential marriage breaker, we should break it off our single ladies and allow them to express themselves in liberty. Okay, so why do you think it was normal for all those, maybe in churches, for brothers not to give single ladies hugs and brotherly kisses, pecks on the cheek? Why? Because they are single. So even to visit us, if a single lady says, oh, this weekend I'm free, please join me for a lunch. Oh, the brother can panic and say, oh, what if they say I'm in a relationship with her? Yes, if you fear that, then grab a friend, the two of you, go and extend the hand of fellowship. You know, maybe she's just looking to be a blessing. You know, ladies usually are motherly. You know, they like to cook and serve people. That's part of nature of being a lady. So if you are not comfortable being alone, grab a friend, go and accept the invitation. You know, love is about giving and taking, receiving. So receiving is also part of love. Sometimes we refuse to receive that part of love, and we don't make the equation full. Okay? So we really need to revisit the way we do love amongst ourselves, amongst the community, in our church groups, in your mosque, wherever. Okay. And, okay. So the main reason here is self-preservation, which is rooted in egocentrism. And how can we break loose from this shell? You may be on this platform and you're wondering, what does she mean by egocentrism? Egocentrism, I mean that it's a mindset of always thinking about yourself, your needs, your preservation, your reputation. You love only yourself, your wife, your husband, your children. That's where you stop, your family. But people outside, oh, they're not part of your business. If they have a problem, it's not. But if it's your son coming, calling you for a problem, you'll run quickly. So egocentrism is just focusing on yourself and your needs only, and neglecting the needs of other people. In a nutshell, that is what egocentrism is all about. So how can we break through that and embrace universal love? Universal love whereby our hearts are big enough to accommodate many people out there. You know, we are not ashamed to extend our love to people, to our neighbors, to our community, to even strangers. If everyone walked in this mentality, our world and our communities will be a better place. Okay. So to the men, we are looking at how to overcome this. So to the men, I'm still waiting for your comments. Stephen, you're welcome. Otto, you're welcome. Henry Kakande, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay. So for men, ask yourself, why do you have such fears? You can't, for example, help a single lady with a heavy, maybe you've met a lady holding a big bag and she's going the same direction as you. You can offer a hand of help to carry the heavy bag. Oh, if you're greeting each other and you know she's single, why do you hesitate not giving her a brotherly hug? Ask yourself, why do I have such fears? Do not be inclined to protecting your own weaknesses that you have failed to deal with. I know this is a heavy one. What I'm trying to say that sometimes self-preservation is as a result of us hiding the weaknesses we have. It could be that there's nothing wrong with the sister. You are the problem. You are who is loose. You are who thinks that, okay, I may fall in love with her or something. Yet, you know, do you have a problem? Do you have a weakness that you haven't dealt with? It's time to open up and deal with it. Sometimes I prefer to be embarrassed and get help than trying to pretend to be together and yet I'm struggling with something. And this is what kills a lot of our people in Africa. We hide a lot of stuff within us. We hide a lot of weaknesses that we can't expose to a counselor. We can't expose to a friend. Say, you know what? I'm struggling with this problem. Help me. I'd rather cry out for help and get it, okay, than struggling with something in silence. So let's learn to be healthy. Let's learn to open up. Let our brothers and our sisters learn to open up. If you have a problem, open up to counselors, open up to psychologists. These people are trained to help us. And say, you know what, I struggle with this. And also go to God, your maker, and open up to him. You know, as you fellowship with him, those things that we struggle with actually reduce, they diminish with time. And actually we become overcomers because he is an overcomer. So his power and grace works through us. And before you know them, we have overcome those weaknesses. And you actually have no problem hugging anyone because the love of God has filled you so much that you easily give it without any strings attached, without any feelings. It is possible. Okay? Joseph is saying that human society is a normative society. Single women and single men in Africa, India, and Asia society now, and traditional Western Europe or society expect a girl or a boy to be married. Okay, it's a long comment, but I'll read it later. Okay, thank you. So yeah, so our men, please check yourself. Okay, and the same, my mentor, Dr. Sandra Dilaja, once said that a man without a mentor is a dangerous man. And that's so true. That's why we have problems in Africa, violence in homes, because men are man-made. They are self-made. They don't have any mentor. They don't have any authority figure. And sometimes I feel sorry for our men because their fathers didn't model the same love principles in the home they grew up in. The community does not model that. You know, generations past did not give an example. So how else would they learn? But that's why we are exposed to all these informations. Okay? So when we learn what is right, we start with ourselves. Let's not blame our fathers who didn't do it or our mothers who didn't model it. Let's start with ourselves. Oh, Sister Mona Lisa, you're welcome. I'm sorry, sometimes I find it difficult pronouncing your name. I hope you give me a simple abbreviations. Merio. Yeah, maybe that one is better. Robert, you're welcome. So everyone, thank you for joining us. Now, as I was saying, that if our men do not have mentors, we are in danger. Okay? So start working on yourself. Be the first one in your generation and model the right image before your children. And that's how we change our society. Our change in society starts with an individual, you yourself. Then you change your family by modeling what is right before your children. Then people around you will also copy you. Then the community is changing. Before that, a community expands and the nation is transformed. So that's how we start. Transformation starts with us as individuals. For the women, if you have insecurities, Okay, in your marriage especially. This problem comes about when women, sometimes women, we can be so intuitive in a wrong way, suspecting single ladies of wanting to take your man or anything like that. There's an issue, insecurity. So if you are insecure in your marriage, then there are issues there. There's something that is not right in the foundation of your marriage. So the only tip I can give you for now is address your fears with your husband and with a psychologist if it's that bad. For example, you can ask your husband, when you sit down together and have a quiet time and a quiet talk, ask him, darling, what made you choose me about all those other men? What is so special about me? And as he answers those questions, actually that builds you up, that heals you up, that fills that gap. And actually, the more you hear those words, the more secure you become. So men out there, our husbands, please make sure that you always affirm your wives. Help them in this area. If you notice that they're insecure, that helps bring healing in the family and in our societies. Okay, so that they don't go about being suspicious with each and every girl around you. Okay, it gives freedom and liberty in our relationships when each and every one of us is secure. Okay. In fact, I had an example, a problem here. Maybe I should share. Some years back, excuse me. Sorry, my nose is always running in the mornings. Okay, as I was saying, some time back, I was working in a certain town, and I had a friend. We used to attend the same fellowship together. She lived just next to the workplace I used to work. Okay, so she tell me, oh Esther, instead of going all the way, taking a train over the weekend, you just come and stay at my place so that you can easily go to work without having to take a train and then come back. So I said, oh, that's nice. She's saving me a lot of hassle. So I started coming to her home. And this is a married lady. Okay. So we are friends, would stay together, fellowship together. It was nice fellowship. So after some time, I wanted to appreciate them for their hospitality. So at our workplace, there's these moving shops. Someone comes with some things to sell, and they put them there on the display for staff to buy. On one of those things, there was a mugs for men, a big mug for men, and different items. But there were only mugs for men and not mugs for women. Okay? So I said, okay, I'll buy that mug for the husband. And when I went to the house, I looked at what she's lacking in the kitchen. And I realized that she did not have a microwave cover. Microwave where the cover used to cover the food when you put in the microwave. Yeah. So that microwave cover was part of the items that this mobile shop had. So I bought a microwave cover and that mug, and I took them to this couple, thanking them. Do you know what? I was innocently thanking them, but that brought a lot of trouble. The lady thought that, why did she buy my husband a big mug, and for me she bought me just a microwave cover? She didn't know my trouble. I could not find a mug for women. So she thought I was trying to get to the husband. And that's how the problem started. To the extent that we had to go to the elders of the fellowship and explain ourselves, a lot of hassle. So when we are secure beings, we shield others from trouble. We don't spread hurt to other people. We know our position and we trust our spouses. That's just an example of what can happen to single ladies. And these things are real. Okay. And another advice to all of us is have intimate relationship with God. This expands our hearts to accommodate other people easily. Okay. If you show me a person who does not love people, that's the same person. I'll show you that same person to tell you that person does not have a close relationship with God. So the closer you are to God, the more it will be easier for you to love people. That's so true. And always, another point I put here, always sow the seed of the benefit of a doubt. This is love. And we know that any seed of love can never be wasted. Why? Because love has life. You know, God is love and God is life. So wherever you sow that seed of life, you'll always reap it back. In the future, at one point, you yourself will need the benefit of a doubt. And guess what? That's an opportunity for you to reap it. So never think that by showing love, you're wasting time. No, you're actually, you're actually doing good. Okay? And that's what you will reap. So I put here a note that I've learned a lot about men thanks to the teaching of Dr. Sandy Adelaja. And one of the major roles I know, the major roles of men in our community, is to reveal fatherly care to the women around them. Not only the women, the wives and the daughters, no, and their mothers, no, but to the women around them. We are talking about universal love. So as a man, see yourself as a father in your community. See yourself as a defender of the vulnerable. When you see a woman who is burdened by a load, you are given muscles. What are they for? They're not for fighting, for showing love. Go help out that person with the Lord. Okay? If someone is coming down the stairs or steps, you know, offer a hand of support so that they don't fall. If your wife or anyone is entering the door, the house or the car, open the door for them. These are simple courtesies of love we are talking about. Okay? Right. So, yeah. So the main reason why men earn the title of gentlemen is because of these simple acts of kindness and simple courtesy. Without strings attached, okay? Without feelings attached at all. Just showing love for others. Universal love. So this is the concept that is universal, available. Love that is available for everybody. Okay? Lisasi, you're welcome. Right. So my husband Sammy has put a link there. That link, sandadelajablog.com, it is where I got all the principles I'm sharing with you. So here I'm just summarizing them, but if you get time, please find time and go and read the whole article. It's empowering. It will enlighten your heart. It will change your heart. When you read that article, after that you come back and just see everyone with love. You won't believe it. Okay. Yes, King David Olufemi. You know, you have so many names. I don't know which one to choose. Thank you, sir, for joining us. You're welcome. Okay. Okay. So love is not egocentric, where it is shown to only one spouse and family. What about other people? They too need you to show that love to them. So love must be universal. The goal of any relationship is to make everyone feel accepted and loved. So let us accept and love our single people in our communities, in our churches, by extending simple courtesies of kindness and love towards them, by giving them hugs, you know, embraces, you know, encouraging them. They too need that. Okay? That's the universal love we are talking about. The church should work to make sure that the interest of members is paramount. The members of the church are our neighbors. You know, the Bible tells us, love your neighbors, you love yourself. Your first neighbor is your church member, or your people next to you, their neighbor in your community, at your home. Those are the first people to experience that love firsthand. Okay? So the church should be a place where single people experience love, development and growth, and encouragement, instead of them sensing rejection, suppression, discrimination. All those come from egocentric love, selfishness. But where there's universal love, everyone feels accepted. All right? Yeah. So otherwise, the church may be forcing these same single ladies to walk out of those doors to go and look for acceptance and love in the wrong places. So sometimes our actions and attitudes chase people away and they land in the wrong hands. But if we practice love, I'm telling you, okay? All right? If we practice love, then our communities will be a better place. Okay. So let us change the way we do church. Let us change the way we run our lives. Let us change the way our attitudes towards other people. Okay. And I'll read one scripture. 1 John 4 and verse 7 says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God." This is the universal love that is being called to all of us to love. Because why? We come from God, and God is love. Okay? So if God is love, and He created us in His own image and likeness, that means our source is love. So we belong to love. Okay? My goodness, my time is up. We belong to love. So whenever we act outside of love, we are dysfunction. That is it. So how can we practice universal love? How can we correct this? I'm going to rush through this, okay? Recognize God in each and every person, simply by acknowledging the fact that everyone was made in the image and likeness of God. So by loving them, you are loving God in them. Number 2, think about this, okay? Just like me, this person is in need of happiness. Just like you, this person is in need of happiness. So contribute to the happiness of others. It may not be money. Your smile, your embrace, your hug, your words of encouragement, sharing your experience, your touch. It may be as simple as that. Universal love. The paradox of life is that what you do to others, God promises to do to you. So your act of kindness is never lost. It becomes a seed that comes back to you in form of a harvest. I'm just reading the words of Dr. Sandra Delaja. Number 3, think about this. Just like me, this person does not want to suffer. So if you meet someone suffering, okay, just think about that. Remember the times you suffered and how you felt and how you longed for someone to help you. That should force you, should be like a driving force. Force you to go and help someone else who's suffering. Universal love. 4thly, just like me, this person has experienced sorrow, disappointment, failures, and abandonment. And this explains what most single people, especially ladies, go through. Some of them have gone through failed relationships. Some of them have been rejected, have abandoned, and they feel dejected. So don't add to that sorrow. We are all human, and we've all experienced this in one way or the other. So think about the time you had the same situation. How did you feel? How did you feel when someone came and encouraged you and showed you love? You felt life back, encouraged. So do the same for others. That should push us to love, to love universally, not egocentric, being egocentric. Okay? So, and therefore, love does not allow us to waste our experiences. We can turn our negative experiences into a love tool to enrich other people. What do I mean by that? By sharing our disappointments and our failures and how we overcame them to other people, that helps other people, that builds other people. We are turning our negative experiences into a love tool. For example, even the live broadcast I'm doing right now, I went through a lot as a single person. So I feel for them. I have a burden towards single ladies and single men. That's why I'm sharing this truth that I've learned to help us better our lives. This is turning my negative experiences into something positive, into a love tool. Okay, so that's how we can love universally. And 5thly, think about this. Just like me, this person wishes to have their needs met. So if you see someone in need and you can afford that need, remember the time you are in need. And the pain you felt. So that should push you to say, no, this person should not go what I went through as well. Let me help. That should push us to love people. Universal love. So I put here, when next you see a person in need, remember the moments you were in need. Go ahead and convert your memories of pain and lack into an energy to fuel your passion to help others. That person in pain before you right now are presently experiencing what you had experienced before. And therefore they need the same intervention and help as you had needed as you had once needed. So that's how we show universal love. So please go and read for further information that link that Sammy put on the comments section at sandyadelajablog.com. Practically Love People. That's the title. Have a read and you will be empowered. So my last word is brethren. We have been called to a life of universal love. Loving even the unlovable people. Sometimes it's hard, but I'm telling you, we have to do it. Okay? We have to do it if we want to live a happier life. Why? Because love conquers all things, even evil. And love is a powerful tool that cannot be penetrated by evil. When you love, I'm telling you, you even notice that you don't get all these evil attacks because you're shielded with love. Love shields us. Love protects us. So by being intentional and even forceful, because sometimes you want to give a hand of help and they have done something painful and you feel, oh, this person, I can't even love. But you forcefully extend your hand of love. Sometimes it has to be forceful. Intentional. That's how we can conquer people. Yesterday we saw a video that really touched my heart. Okay? You know, this criminal had killed 48 women. And everyone was saying, he deserves to go to hell. Away with him. Oh, yeah. He deserves to die a painful death. And this gentleman, and one gentleman just stood up and said, you know what? You are forgiven. I forgive you. He extended his love to this man. And you know, before, this criminal was listening to all those negative comments with his eye open, unmoved. Because why? He was already experienced, his life is broken. He has never experienced love himself. And then when this other person came, so different from the others, and said, you know what, I forgive you. I forgive you. You know what? For the first time, I saw this man break down in tears. He touched his eye. That means he was about to cry. So love can break even the hardest heart, the hardest criminal. Love is a powerful tool. Let's embrace love and improve our continent of Africa and improve our communities and raise up better children who know love so that they will not end up in prison. Okay? Love will mend our communities. All right. So by being intentional and even forceful about showing love, we can build better communities where everybody, and in this context, single people, feel loved and accepted. So I'm sorry I have to go. I'm sorry for keeping you for so long, but that's our time and that's what we had to discuss today. Hello, Clay. You joined late. Sorry, you can always go back and watch the video. So thank you for joining us. I wish you all to have a refreshing weekend and a life of love. All right? Let's walk in universal love. All right. Blessings. Bye.